Should it be from and Latif, I believe?
It's recording in progress.
Yeah, think recording in progress. Okay, this is good. I guess everyone is here. We can, if possible, can we just mute everyone? Because there's a bit of a background noise. Good. All good. Latif, can you guys hear me? And then is a slide on?
Yeah, can hear you, can see.
Okay. Good. Okay, then thank you everyone for joining. Today's program is just an introductory session, as I mentioned from the message. We're trying to know each other and basically give you guys an overview of the nature of the program, how we do come in to assist. And if you are to have any questions please let me know. Happy to pick it up. So let's just start by looking at what motivated this program, how long we've been running it, and then what you guys can stand to benefit from it. So today, the panelists happens to be myself, Farouk. There is Latif there as well. I think you guys might have seen Latif. He will introduce himself briefly. And there's Fuleratu as well. Fulera is from Manitoba. We do have quite a lot of team members, but for today's discussion, we are just limiting it to only the two as it stands now. So there's Fauzia from Ontario. Hopefully, you guys will meet her soon. There's Shafiq. There's Latif, as we mentioned. There's Fulera. There's Hamida. There's Mandia. There's Fatih. She's in Manitoba. And there is Samira. She's in the US. There's Elsie. She's in the US. There's Justin. He's in Montreal, Canada. So we do have a big team. So hopefully we can step up and then help. But for today, as I mentioned, it's just the two or the three of us. And then Latif, please just introduce yourself briefly to them, and Fulera will also introduce herself after that.
Okay, thanks, Farouk. Thanks everyone for joining us today. My name is Latif Mohammed. I completed my undergraduate studies in economics at the University of Cape Coast in 2018, did my national service as a teaching assistant in the department. And then in 2019, I came to the University of Saskatchewan for my master's to do my master's in economics. And I completed and currently have been working with the government of Saskatchewan as an economic statistician. So that's just a little bit about me. Thanks.
Thanks, Latif. Fulera, if you're there, please introduce yourself briefly, if possible.
Okay, sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Fuleratu Mohammed, and I had my first degree in education English at the University of Ghana, and I graduated 2022. And I joined University of Manitoba to pursue a master's in second language education for winter term 2023. I'm still in the program towards the end. Yeah, so that's it about me. Thank you. Nice to meet you all.
Yeah. Thanks, Fulera, and thanks, Latif. So my name is Farouk Abdul-Salam. I came to Canada in 2014, specifically to Manitoba for my master's program in economics. Then I moved to Simon Fraser University for my PhD, completed in 2021. And then I'm currently working as a data scientist and economist. So I just combined both roles. So in today's discussion, let me try and give you guys an overview of what we are about to discuss. And if you have to have any question, please raise your hand. We can pick it up. We don't necessarily have to go through everything. Make sure you ask questions in between the discussion. So have a look at the introduction and basically what motivated this program. Then we'll look at the preparation, look at the selection process as well, get to see how to navigate through writing of our CVs, the statement of purpose. There's also going to be the case of payment, be it your application fee payment or your visa payment, whatever payment might be necessary. We'll have a look at that. Then we'll look at some of the post-submission support that we normally come into, address or assist with. Then, if possible, have a look at when we might have the very first update as to where we stand. And yeah, we have a look at the teammates, get to connect with them. And if you guys have any questions, I think they will be happy to support you. So in terms of the background, the whole idea here is very simple. These are okay. So these are the key items that we try to address. So as I mentioned, the reason why we initiated this program is, first of all, we tend to see that students from Africa do contact us. They go through the school profile, and when they see an African, they ask questions. Hey, how can I apply to your school? What are the requirements? And sometimes they go like, hey, I'm applying to your school. Can you have a look at my statement of purpose? Or can you have a look at my CV? And then they ask questions surrounding scholarships and how they can survive along the lines of the finances that's been provided within the school. Also during their application, when they get the admission, for sure, there is an issue of visa application. They just don't know how to go about it, be it the US or in Canada. And also when they get the visa and then they're about to come to a province where they know eventually no one, they go like, hey, I'm coming to this particular province, but I don't know anyone in that province. Can you help me with any airport pickup, any accommodation related support and all that? So these are questions that most of our brothers and sisters from the continent do ask us because they realize that we are here, we can be of support. Having seen these type of questions, we came together to organize this graduate school application guide, I think in 2021, and this is going to be our 4th year. And the whole idea is to put everything within a particular platform where you guys can ask the questions and get the support right away. On top of that, in terms of some of the key requirements, be the CV, statement of purpose, and what have you, we are a bit more proactive to provide you some structures to how to go about it without necessarily asking. So I'll walk you guys through all these necessary details and get to see how that can be of help. And in terms of the visa application as well, the likes of Latif, Fuleratu, they can also provide you all the necessary details that you need in order to survive this particular process. So this is a platform that we provide and making sure that we give you guys the support that you need. Now, in terms of the financial constraint that you guys are faced with, not only do you have to write your CV or your statement of purpose or get to see visa application guide, you also have to pay some important fees like your graduate school application and what have you. So this has been a burden. So what I started with together with the team is to go like, okay, we understand that you guys do face that challenge. So whenever I have the money, and thankfully I've been able to get the money for the past 2 or 3 years or 4 years now, I will give you guys what I can give you. So everyone submits his or her application. I go through it. Whenever I see a very good material, I can provide that particular student the partial fee payment. So at the end of the day, we are looking at 50 students. We go through everybody's application. We shortlist 50 students and we pay the $50 application. So my budget has been along the lines of $2,000 to $3,000. And of this monies, I give $50 to each and every student that has been selected for his partial school application fee payment. So that has been the financial support that we give on top of whatever that I mentioned up here. Now, in terms of some of the constraints that you guys are faced with, the language test and what have you, we'll talk about that. But for now, in terms of what we provide, this is what we provide. Now, we also have to, come in here and give you guys some necessary details that you need in order to survive this whole process. So sometimes you might be trying to apply to a particular school, you see there is a match, but on top of that, you realize that there's an African student who did very well there. So if you know myself, or you know Latif, or you know Fulera, or you know Hamida, you can get in touch with them, get to see whether that African student can give you an additional reference, and you can then put it as part of your application package. So these are some of the tricks that you can use as you enrich your application, and hopefully we'll come and then teach you guys how to leverage some of these opportunities. So this is just an example. You can click on this slide. It will take you directly to a student who did well with his or her profile. You can leverage that, mention that particular student in your statement of purpose, and hopefully you can get something out of that. So overall, that's the background. And let me just pause here, Latif and Fulera. If you guys have any pointers, feel free to do that. If not, we can take questions on this slide, and then we go on to the next slide. Any questions so far? Latif and Fulera, if you have any pointers, feel free to do so. No questions, I believe.
Yeah, I'm good here.
Good. So in terms of the objective, in terms of what I mentioned earlier, so this would just be a recap of it, right? So our primary objective is to make sure we teach you how to select the right programs, how to write a very good CV to complement that, how to write a good statement of purpose. In terms of getting gonna be will be you submitting your package. When it comes to that, if the application fee is maybe 100 Canadian dollars, if you are part of those who are selected, here 40 to 50 students, as I mentioned, will come in and give you $50 to help you pay for your application fee. So if the school is asking you $100 and I give you $50, I guess you can just try and find the other $50 to complement that, and that will be it. So we are rather coming in to help you with the money, and there's no way we are going to take any money from, and that's a lot. So 3 years, and hopefully this year I do have the budget to support that. Also, when there's a need to come in and guide you, we provide the necessary guidance. Then comes the secondary objective. What is the secondary objective that we try to provide here? We try to link you up with any graduate student that we think might be a good mentor to you. So this is another addition to what we provide. That's going to be the secondary support. If there is any professor or professors that we think might equally come in and help us understand the process, we invite them to come and give us a talk. Last year, we had Professor Suma from the University of Manitoba. We also had a professor from Ontario, I believe. The previous years, we had Professor Achu Amegashi from the Economics Department in Gulf and Business as well. And we also have Professor Boache. I believe Professor Boache, I should send you guys the link to join his page as well. He's also been very supportive. Then again, we do have the post-application guide, as I mentioned earlier. If you get your admission letter and you need your guidance for the visa, we provide that guidance as well. As I mentioned, Latif and Fulera did help a lot with this last year. In terms of your settlement, if you're coming to Canada, just let me know the province and I'll make sure I connect you with someone within your province to make your landing very, very smooth. If it is the US, if I happen to find someone, I'll surely do that as well. So a couple of misconceptions, and I think people do come in and ask questions, and I think these are two important misconceptions that I really want to clear. The very first thing is you don't have to pay anything to anybody on this platform. You don't pay anything to anybody. We are rather coming in to help you with the money. So I keep on mentioning this. I do have a budget of $2,000 to $3,000 of this. I'm gonna use that one to support you guys. There should be no mentioning that you have to pay anyone on this platform. No. And thankfully, the past 3 years has been smooth. Also, we don't promise any scholarship. Anyone that has gone through this program, 99% of the work has been by his or her efforts. So please don't expect to be spoon-fed. This is more along the lines of your effort, but we are just trying to come in and make sure that your process is a bit more smooth, or it's much smoother for you. So this is very important, and I'll just pause here, take questions if there are any. I think I see some questions on the chat room. If there are none, we can go ahead. If there are some, then I think we can pick it up. Any questions in the fully run, Latif?
Yeah, I think there's a question here that what is the timeline for this initiative?
Yeah,
Yeah, Osman.
Yeah, I think the timeline is mostly mid of November, where we gather everyone's document, make sure you guys have your CV in check, everything is okay, then we can just make the final call and make sure everyone has his or her application in. So mid-November is a good timeline because we don't expect the schools to open the applications till somewhere mid-November. So I think we kind of time it along that timeline. So mid-November should be a good time. Latif, what do you think? Should we make it earlier or mid-November is okay?
Yeah, I think most of the universities might probably open their application ending of September, starting October. So mid-November should be ideal, or mid to late November should be the timeline, I think. Yeah.
Sure. So we shortly.
The deadline for most of the schools is usually in January or February. So if we make it in mid-November, it helps because if you submit your application early, it helps you as well as a student here.
Sounds good. I think that sounds good.
And Wafiu is asking, what support do you provide regarding the standardized test? I guess he's actually referring to GMAT, GRE. What support do you provide for that?
I think for that would be a long stretch, right? That wouldn't be within the framework of what we are trying to do. I guess here we are just trying to give everybody the level playing field, right? So everyone, if you're applying to Canada or most of the US schools, you do have to pay something. And we trying to help on the application fee side, gives everyone the same advantage. But if you had to delve deeper and go like, you're going to write a GRE, so we have to support you, or you're going to write a GMAT, then you have to support you, then we might be giving more of the support to the business students or perhaps the science student than the art student, and that wouldn't be fair to them. So I think for now, given my budget, on the application fee for the school, should be the most convenient one and appropriate one.
Yeah. Someone is asking that in the event that a candidate is not selected for application fee, would it still be possible to consider promising the student for mentorship and related opportunities? Thank you. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think this is important. So even if you're not being considered, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not good. It just means that it's just too competitive. Because there are a couple of things that comes in making the final call. So you don't have to worry if you're not part of the finals. Those selected are the ones that will get partial application fee, but all the support will be there. All the like for your CV, for the visa support and all that will be there for everyone. So I remember last year, Latif was meeting you guys each and every weekend to go through the visa application and all the necessary details that you guys need. It's open to everyone. But the fact that I'm saying that I'm shortlisted is just basically based on my budget. So yeah, it's open to everyone, the same mentorship. And sometimes we get the feeling that a student is being selected as part of the final 40 or 50 students, and he or she does not necessarily show their interest. So those on the standby will get the $50 instead of those who are selected. So it's all about the effort as well. So sometimes when we screen and we pick someone, the interest wouldn't be there. So you that happens to be on the standby will get that as well. So just it's open to everyone. Again, just to repeat, the partial fee payment is where the selected fee might be coming from because of my budget constraint.
We can move on.
If you wanna pick up on the support you provided them last year. Oh, is there any question there, Latif?
Yeah, I think we can move on. I think more questions will come up.
Sure. Okay, then. I think this will be the key initiative in terms of what we intend to cover. I think there is a hand up. Let me see whether I can pick it up. Is that the case, Latif and Fulera? Is there someone with a hand up?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Kofi Junior, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, team, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity. I wanted to add that those that you helped last year, how many of them had funding and possibly are now in US?
For the US, I believe it should be maybe 2 to 3, if I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
In terms of the funding, I don't know the exact details as to what their funding situation is, because it's something that I don't want to get into. Yeah, but if you have to talk about what we've done in the past couple of years, like 3 years now, I think we should have more than 10 students from the US. Fulera, is that the case? Is Fulera there?
Yeah, I'm here. I think it should be up to 10 students in US if taken.
Okay. And again, it's not the case that we are taking any credit for they being in the US. 99% of or 100% of the work is from their end. So currently we are all colleagues, right? So they are my colleagues, right? So if you guys need anyone from the US, I can just fall onto them and go like, hey, I think some of the students from Ghana need some support, and they can step up and help. So there is a program. Let me just show you something that they did last year. So for instance, these guys are the ones from US, right? So they came in to give us.
This is how AI optimizes my schedule. This meeting got canceled. Hooray! We didn't really want to.
That's the DS-160 form. You can start filling the DS-1.
Yeah, so this is the likes of Samira, Hamida, LC, and the rest. So they are in the US, and they came in to help us understand the process in terms of our visa application and what we need when it came to the US related problems. In terms of Canada, we have Fulera, we have Latif, as I mentioned. They are there to support us and understand the process when it comes to the Canadian schools. So let me pick up another question. Any question in there as well? I'll take one or two, then we'll move on to the whole idea, the next slide.
Yeah.
Anyone in there?
Mukhtar, you can go ahead.
Okay, there is a question. I think there is a question about transcripts and like if one can use transcript that contains first to third year results to apply for a PhD program, and when admitted, send their official transcripts to the school.
Yeah, I think that's possible. That's possible within the Canadian context, but I don't know whether that's possible within the Ghanaian context. So, for instance, in my case, I got my PhD program using my first semester's results from the University of Manitoba. That's allowed because I was already in the system. They know me, and when I applied to Simon Fraser University, they went like, okay, we understand you are coming from Manitoba. We understand this is your first semester's transcript. So we are going to give you the PhD program, but it should be conditional. And this is very important. It should be conditional on you completing the rest of the courses that you have currently being uncompleted, right? So that's possible within the within the Canadian context. But if you're coming from Ghana direct and you want to do same, I don't know how that plays out. That would be my frank opinion. I'll take one more question with the guys with the hands raised, then I think we'll go to the next slide. Latif, please pick one. Okay,
yeah, thank you very much. So you did mention earlier on that so if you're applying to schools in US or Canada, and some of you can give us assistance in terms of recommendation letter. So I don't know how that is possible. So maybe most of the programs, let's say you're applying to a PhD program in economics, and they would want recommendation from your professors or your past teachers from your undergraduate program or master's program. So how possible is this one? Is it always okay? How is it?
I don't think I mentioned somewhere that I would give a recommendation letter. I think the recommendation that I'm trying to say here is in terms of you writing your statement of purpose and leveraging a student within the same program. But for a recommendation letter, it should be coming from your professors. I think 2 of them should be coming from your professors, and if there's a need for a professional recommendation as well, you can get it from someone that you worked with. But we don't provide any recommendation letter. What I'm saying here, and I need to repeat this, is very important, is if you apply to a program and you want to make a case for yourself that, hey, I'm a very good student, they need to be sure that you're coming from a very good school. So an example in my case, when I was in Manitoba, my very first semester, they realized that our statistics was very good because the result for my econometrics was very, very good. So they came up to me and they went like, if you are to know anyone within your school, can you recommend the person to join our program? Because there seems to be a part in here that you guys have very good statistics background and you guys can survive our program. So in that case, I recommended my colleagues to apply, and they can then mention me in their statement of purpose saying that, oh, Farouk did mention that he was from the same school as myself and you guys wanted someone from my school. So I'm from the same school as Farouk. Or you go through the website because you can find students that have done something in the past that's, I mean, it's a bit more complimentary. So you can leverage them. But before you do that, just make sure you have their acceptance before you write it within your statement of purpose. But in terms of your recommendation letter assistance, it's mostly going to be coming from your professors, not from the students and not from us. Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Farouk, to just add a little bit to that. So I will use one of my experiences to add that. At UFS, there was this University of Ghana student. He did economics and statistics. So he reached out to me. I think that was in 2022. He reached out to me that he has seen that I am doing my graduate studies at the University of Saskatchewan, and he's interested in joining the school. And if I know any professor or if I know any professor who is interested in taking on a graduate student. So at that time, my co-supervisor who I was working on with my thesis, I actually told the guy that, okay, reach out to this professor. I gave the professor's name to him. Reach out to this professor and let her know that you are interested in development economics, because her research area was mostly in development economics in West Africa. And at that time, the professor was having a project that he was looking for a graduate student. And so I kind of gave him some of the guidelines on what to say, how to kind of channel his request so that it will be in line with what the professor is looking out for. So he did, and then the professor organized a Zoom call with him. And after the call, she came to ask me. So I told him that during the Zoom call, try and mention my name to her that you know me, and then, and all that. So after the call, she called me to the office that, she kind of had a Zoom call with this particular person from the University of Ghana. I know him, even though I never met the guy before, but we kind of had a lot of conversations. So at least I could see, that he was really interested in it. Then I told her, oh, I've never met him personally, but I do know him, and I know the University of Ghana is one of the best universities in Ghana. So I think, and the guy was very strong in quantitative, so he'll be a good fit. And that was it. And the guy got the admission and then funding. So that is just an importance of leveraging on a student that you know who is pursuing the program that you are interested in. Yeah.
Exactly. Thanks a lot, Latif. And this is very, fairly common. It's just that most of you guys don't know. So hopefully with this exposure, you can get to know more about these these opportunities, and you can leverage them. And I also mentioned last year, and even this year, if you look at the announcement that I made with regards to this particular meeting, you guys realize that I placed Latif's lending profile together with Fuleratu's lending profile. The reason being that there was a similar experience last year where I was pushing you guys to get your lendings up, connect with us on LinkedIn, and get to see whether there's a mutual connection. So the students who just went ahead and connected with us on LinkedIn, and apparently there was a professor there that she realized that there was a similar interest, and it was much easier for her to connect as well because there was that shared interest between someone and that professor. So that's another platform that you guys can leverage. And if you see any connection, and if there is a possibility for us to step in and then give you guys a word or two, then we can surely do that. Okay, so that's mostly it. I'll take one last question and I'll go to the next slide. Latif, pick one person, then I think we can go to the next slide. I think, Fulera, you are dealing with the written questions, right? Let me know if something interesting comes from the end. Hopefully, we can tackle that as well.
Yeah, sure.
Latif, let's pick someone with the hand raised.
Ella, you can go ahead. I see your hand up. Abdullah, are you there?
Yeah, hello. Good afternoon or good evening, depending on the content. The continent you are. Actually, I'm the person of Abdullah Mohammed Muntaka, 11th one, the economic student of University of Ghana, UG. Actually, I just joined not a while ago, so I don't know how far the conversation has gone. I just wanted to ask some couple of questions. That is, I am an undergraduate student, a founder economic student. I wanted to know if, just right after the degree program, I can use it to apply for a PhD program outside, either US or Canada. And also, if so, like the requirement, what will be required of me in terms of, do I have to be a first class student, second class upper? And also, yes, in case, if yes, the application process, if I'm in need of your help, I don't know, how can I reach out to you?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think in terms of your background as what's the name? Your background as econ students, have a look at this session that we had with Professor Achua Megashi. I think it will answer a lot of questions that you have. So I wouldn't want to go too much into it, but I'll give you one or two points to address. So go to my website and have a look at this particular video that we had with Professor Achua Megashi. He's a renowned professor in Ontario. Please go through it carefully, Guelph. It will answer all your questions. But from my perspective as a Canadian, in the same field, which is economics, if you really want to come to Canada and do your PhD right away, that'll be too much of a stress. You rather come in and do your master's program to understand the terrain, then thereafter you aim for the PhD. And in doing so, you can really understand what it takes to survive within the PhD program, like getting your math solid, getting your theory solid, getting some important aspects of your training pretty much polished before you make that huge leap to do a PhD program. So that'll be my advice. Is Abdullah, please have a look at this particular session that we had with Professor Megashi, and that can really help you understand what's going on. Fulera, if there's no question from the chat, I would like to just go to the next slide.
No question.
Okay, I would like to go to the next slide. Hopefully that can address the other two questions that you asked, Abdullah. So let's go here. I think we've tackled the objective misconceptions that I really want to address before we go ahead and get to see how the preparation is, right? So here I think it will really help you guys understand what's going on. So in terms of your preparation, these are some of the important things that you really want to, keep in mind as you prepare. First of all, the course or the program of study. Be very particular about it. You see some students not knowing the particular program that they really want to go into because perhaps they might have major and they don't know whether they should go into statistics or they should go into economics, or how does it go when it comes to that particular decision to be made. Then the class and the grade points, as you rightly mentioned, the last guy who asked the question, is very important, right? So overall, you should be aiming for the first class. If that's not possible, kindly aim for the second class upper, because there is always the cutoff point. So with a university like University of Manitoba, I believe it should be 3.0. That doesn't mean if you have 3.0, you get in. It just tells you that that's a starting point. So you are competing with others. So there's always a case for you to aim higher. I've seen situations where someone has a second class upper, but with a good preparation in terms of his or her CV or statement of purpose, the person might get in compared to someone who has a first class, but without solid preparation in terms of the statement of purpose and what have you. So this is going to be very important so that you guys look into it. Your year of completion. Your year of completion is very tricky, right? So if you are someone with a math background, there is always the need for you to be fresh. So they rather prefer someone who just completed last year or the prior year to come and read economics, statistics, mathematics, computer science, and what have you. But if you are someone who is into maybe sociology and then more of the arts, it doesn't really hurt us far back. The idea, if you finish your program in 2018 and you're not going to apply for a program, if you have the expertise or if you have the experience to show that within that timeline, within the gap that can be seen on your CV, you were doing something related to sociology or political science, then you get yourself in. So this is a tricky point, so keep an eye on that and let me know if you have any questions on that as well. Your references. Please make sure you talk to your professors and get the references in as soon as possible. As soon as you're done with the payment of your application fee, your professors should receive your notification and they should be able to give you a good reference. Make sure those giving you the reference know you very well, and it shouldn't be something pretty much generic. So please make it a point to get the references on time. In terms of the flexibility of the program, now this is also going to be very important. I see this a lot. You see students from the science-related programs, before they go into the program, they need to get a professor who goes like, yes, I want to admit you before they even apply. So it becomes a bit challenging for them to get into grad school. So if you don't have that, you can also, pivot towards a program that's related, but does not necessarily need you to get a supervisor before you apply, right? So if you're in engineering and getting a school in engineering is very difficult, have a look at economics. It might be the case that you have a very solid math background and they can take you for economics related program. So think about it carefully and don't stay home too long, right? Don't be going like, if it's either chemistry or physics or the highway. Don't do that. Have some plan in mind. Is it possible for you to transition? If you can transition, what is the best transition, point for you, transition program for you? In terms of the schools, just be a bit more, sympathetic towards yourself. Don't go choose schools that are top tier, knowing that the competition is extremely high compared to a mid-tier school that can give you a very good landing. And after that, you can learn the system and get to do your PhD thereafter. So your school selection should be a bit more strategic, right? If you go take a top tier school, it might be very stressful for you. You might not necessarily understand the system, and before you finish your master's program in that particular school, your grades wouldn't be that good. And getting a PhD with that poor grade becomes an issue. If, however, you come into a mid-tier school, you are able to really understand the system, get a soft landing, get very good grades, then you can use those grades to aim for a higher PhD program in the top tier school. So this is what you can do in terms of balancing between the schools when it comes to the tier system. Also, it also depends on your future goal. Is it the case that you're more aligned towards a PhD program or a master's program? Are you more academic, or it's more along the lines of you going to industry? These are important questions that you probably might really want to ask yourself before you make the decision as to which schools to select. Then in terms of the schools, if I'm to give you $50 and you pay the other $50 to apply to one particular school, I believe you should make it a point to also add a school or two on top of that, just so you have a very rich portfolio of schools that you can apply to. So if one particular school did not give you the admission, it might be the case that the other school might give you the admission. Or if the two schools give you the admission as it stands, then you can use one particular school's funding letter to bargain for a higher funding in the other school. So applying to more than one school is very, very important if you have the funds. If you don't, I think that's a bit more understandable. You can look at the schools that also have school waivers. So I'll pause here. Latif, if you have any pointers, please feel free to add. Fuleratu, if you have any pointers, feel free to add as well. If there are any questions, please let me know. We can address them before we move to the next slide.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add that about the school choice. For Canada now, you should target designated learning institution, DLI schools. So you will get to know about these schools on IRCC like portal or website. You just go and type DLI institutions in Canada, because they are changing their laws, and if you get into a school that is not DLI, you might not be looking at getting a work permit after like graduation or any of those things. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's an important question, Latif. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Fulera. What I will add is about the choice of your schools. So sometimes a lot of us are of the notion that because I have first class, I should get into the top class, the top 1% universities in Canada or the US. In fact, the competition is very, very, very tough. You are competing with people from all over the world, and some of them even have perfect GPA, perfect GRE score with publications and all that. So in terms of your choice of the universities to apply, you should not only aim at the top 1% universities. You should at least also aim at the universities in the middle, or sometimes those down there, so that those ones can serve as, a stepping stone for you to enter the country. And also the idea that I have first class, so you have to be in the top schools and all that, it also comes with its own consequences. You are going to meet the top 1% student as well. And in fact, I can tell you that some of the things that they teach here, this part of the world, you can get first class from Ghana and whatever, but if you come here and then you don't take time, you can fail. So you should also take note of that, and then just kind of lower your expectations in choosing such university. So that's a little I want to add about that. Yeah, thanks.
That's very important. Thanks a lot, Latif.
And
Eric, yeah, go ahead.
okay, sure. So there is a question in the chats about scholarships and like in specific nursing program. I just want to like, even though Brother Farouk has mentioned it, I just want to say it again that we can't know all scholarships in like every school. Like sometimes you get questions like, are there scholarships in this field of study? Are there scholarships in this program? I can't like know every school and every program and if there are scholarships in those programs or those schools. It is up to you to research on the program you want to read and research on, because even scholarships and funding vary by schools and even by departments. So it's up to you to do that research. I can't search for a course for you and search if the school has scholarships or funding. It's up to you. We don't give scholarship. We don't determine if programs have scholarships. It's up to you to like to do that research and know if the program you are applying to, the school gives funding or scholarship. Yeah, thank you.
And that's very important. It's part of the misconceptions that I stated here earlier. So remember, guys, that this is mostly, 100% of the work should be coming from you, right? We are here to make sure that we are giving you the necessary guidance, support to go through the process and then get a more smooth in landing, as I mentioned earlier. So if, for instance, you've done your research, you come across two schools like University of Manitoba, this is what I find, this is the scholarship that they offer, but maybe Saskatchewan is offering this. Can you help me make a decision out of these two? I think that would be a very good question to answer. But if you are to come blind in some respect and just go like, can you show me a school that offers scholarship, or can you do this for me? Then that'll be more along the lines of you getting spoon-fed, and this is graduate school. Nobody's spoon-feeds everyone. You have to make sure that the effort is mostly coming from you. So it's an important point to raise, Fulera, and please make sure you understand what we are doing here. We are trying to help you, but most of the work should be coming from you as well. It's a graduate school. Eric, do you have any questions? Eric Corsa?
Yeah, yes, please. I do have a question. First and foremost, I want to thank you for this vital information. My question has to do with respect to the flexibility of about the program change. Yeah, you made mention of the class and the grade. Very good. I particularly have tutu and in from agriculture science, but I'm with a science background and in education. So I wanted to know that sometimes there's a situation where some schools will advertise some vacancies like maybe GRA, graduate research assistant or graduate teaching assistant. So such situation, how best with this program of yours is going to help us to target a situation like this, where maybe a professor has come to declare a vacancy in his lab. How do you target our application toward that to achieve that? I think my question is clear.
Maybe I'll give it a try. If it's not clear, just let me know. Maybe I can take it again. So, as you rightly mentioned, with those of you in the science field, especially the chemistries and maybe the Greek, as you rightly mentioned, when someone, you guys first of all have to initiate, right? You have to write the emails to the professors and ask for opportunities to work in their lab. And sometimes when there is none, they would rather not respond to you, or they would just tell you that there's no opportunity. Now here, this is where you leveraging the students from your continent or those from your schools is very important. It might be the case that a particular student is working with that particular professor in the same lab. So the best thing you do here is you don't have to shoot a blind email. You have to talk to the student first, get to see whether the student can connect to the professor, and then if there's any connection, you can work on that. If they post a vacancy and you write to them very professionally, and they say yes, but for in the time being, you guys will have to get a Zoom interview and what have you. Here, Professor Solomon Boachi has been of immense help. He's a professor in, I think, in Brock or so. And whenever I see whenever I see such situations, I just push the students straight to Professor Boachi, and he can help you guys prepare for the interviews. So that's how I can help you guys connect the professors if there is any. I don't know if that answers your question, but I don't think we can do much in terms of we getting the professors into the labs for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you rightly, I mean, answered my question. But I have one follow-up question I want to add. Is it so? Hello?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, sometimes they specifically state the class that they are looking for, but we also need to look at ourselves first. I, for example, I have second class lower. So basically, one of the requirements of such programs state that they need people with second class upper. I don't know if I need to shoot my shots as they've said clearly, or I just need to back up.
I don't think you should. I don't think you should back down. But I think it will be a long stretch. I think that would be my short answer. Don't back down, but I think it will be a long stretch. Is Raymond here? Is Raymond with us?
I'm here.
Yeah, you wanted to speak?
All right. Good morning to you all.
Good morning,
I'm
sir.
speaking from the US. Good morning. I just want to use this opportunity. I'm waiting for this opportunity to commend the team. I joined the grad application last year, and I must say that I'm really grateful. I followed up with all the teachings. I joined every meeting. I did not skip any meeting because I know whatever I wanted. Throughout the application process, school application, Brother Farouk, Latif, Fuleratu, connected to LinkedIn, all other stuff. By God's grace, I applied to Memorial University of Newfoundland because I had interest in education. I got admission quickly. Dr. Farouk linked me up to Latif. I remember I was at church by then, and he even called me. In fact, I'm really grateful. He walked me through the visa process. I did not pay a dime. We spent a whole lot of time, sometimes midnight, sacrificing all other things that he was doing for me. I'm really grateful. I got the admission. I got a visa approved. That's in May. Because I was a teacher, I did not put my eggs in one basket. I was working on J1 jobs in the US. Colleagues, by God's grace, I had the J1 visa as well. So quickly I have to contact them for their wise counsel because I was in the fix, whether to go to Canada for the school or the job in the US. So I listened to whatever they had to share. They did not decide for me. They weighed the options and they told me everything depends on me. So I went onto my knees and prayed. So I decided to come for the J1 teaching job in the US. Whilst I concentrated on the online option, the program I was offered, there's an online option as well in Memorial. So I contacted the department and they agreed on that. So I'm currently having the online option for the school. So whilst I'm here working as a J1 teacher, I'm also schooling as well. So I just wanted to join this meeting and to say thank you so much. I'm really, really grateful. And I know in the next 2 years, I'll be joining you in Canada for my graduation. I'll come there and say thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. I think Brother Latif, you work very closely with Raymond. Thanks a lot. You have some few words to that, Latif?
Yeah. Just to, I mean, it's good to have him here. I remember, I mean, he was very, very instrumental and very, very serious about the application process. He calls me here and there, sending me his document and all that, and then hopefully we went through it. So We are happy that we were able to be of, we were able to provide our help and expertise. Those of you who are now starting, I think this should be a motivation for you to also know what to do. We are always here to support you, always here to guide you, always here to answer your questions. And in doing so, one thing I would add is that sometimes when you send us your documents and all that, you are not the only one sending. So when we tell you to be patient with us too, you should try to be patient with us, because there are a lot of people who are sending us documents to review and all that. So sometimes it takes time. So just be patient, and then we work through everything together. So I'm happy, Sere, you made it through. Hopefully we will see you around in Canada here very soon. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And just like the case of Raymond, so myself as well, and I believe that should be similar to Fulera and as well as Latif. We all got into Canada or the US because a fellow or a senior helped us get through, right? So in my case, for instance, I mean, coming to Canada, I know no one, but I had the likes of Prosper, making sure that everything is okay, picking me up from the airport and all that. So it's more or less like we reciprocating whatever support that we got in the past. And it is our hope that this will continue, I mean, going on. And just like Latif mentioned, Ray was very, very, I mean, instrumental in a lot of respects. And the thing here is not only are we helping you guys, we are also learning from you, right? So if you are to see someone working this hard, you as the mentor, you also equally have to work harder. So I'm very happy that he has made the time to join us today and tell us where he is and whatever he has gone through. And most of the work, 100% of the work is coming from him. And hopefully in the next year or two, he'll be sitting here helping the student that's also try to make it here. So just remember, guys, we are here to help, but you guys will also have to help us, just like what Latif mentioned. I do have about 700 of you, and I can't be going through every document. So we've made it a point to record these sessions, record the CV sessions, record the statement of purpose sessions, and all the sessions that we think are relevant. So your first step is to, first of all, go through the sessions carefully, make sure you have everything polished, give it to your colleague, let them proofread it for you several times. Then finally you can go like, hey, Farouk, I think I'm done. I've gone through everything. I think this is my final version. Can you have a look at it if you have time? Then I can confidently go through it. But if this is like your first draft and you go like, have a look at me, and then 700 of you are doing the same, I guess I can't survive. So let's keep this advice and go through the sessions. Now, let me quickly go through one or two slides. Yes.
I'm in the church.
Yes, please.
I want to close this with that I'm still part of the team, and I'm ready to assist one way or the other. So since I'm in the US now, if anyone needs assistance through you, maybe in paying the service fee, any other payment that you think the charges in Ghana will be quite too much, through you, I can do that to assist the family.
Thank you very much. I'll surely do that. I'll surely do that.
Thank you so much. I want to leave now.
Okay, sure. Have a good time, Ray. Now let's go to the next session, and I'll quickly come pick up the questions that we have. And I think we just finished talking about the preparation that you might want to consider as you work on this. I can explain this further, but let's just quickly run through the slides and I can take up the questions. The factors to consider, first of all, research on the schools, whether you are into a Canadian school or US school, and also the program. Have that decision made. Check the deadline. This is very important because there isn't any negotiation as to the deadline. If they set a deadline, it's mostly fixed. Also, have a look at the application fee. For some US schools, I think they can give you a waiver. For the Canadian schools, I think about 90 or 100% of them might not even give you a waiver. So have a look at the schools and the ones that will give you a waiver and the ones that wouldn't give you a waiver. Have a mix of everything just so you can enrich your portfolio and apply to several schools, as I mentioned in the previous slide. Check the department, whether they need a GRE or GMAT. This is important. The language proficiency, this is very important. Do not write this exam. Whenever they ask you for a language proficiency letter, you can get a waiver from your school, be it University of Ghana or Tech or Cape Coast. You just get this letter and that will serve as a waiver because your primary medium of communication is English. Have a look at whether the school would require you to have a supervisor before you even apply or not. And this, as I mentioned earlier, is mostly related to the science guys. Please keep an eye on that. Also prepare your certificate and then your transcript. Some of the transcript, they will need you to evaluate it and you can do it with WES and the rest. This is mostly a bit costly, but if you really want to go into a program that will require you to evaluate your transcripts, make sure you have it done as soon as possible before the deadline. Have a look at the semester to complete. This is an important, it has an immigration implication in Canada. I don't know much about the US, whether when you complete 1 year, you get a 1-year visa, or if you complete 2 years, you get a 3 years visa. This, hopefully when we go through the details of it, Latif and Fuleratu will walk you through. And as I mentioned earlier, just search for a school, a student that might be coming from your school or has the same orientation as yourself. They can equally give you additional guide as you might need. So here we do have a video that will walk you through the school selection process. To give you an overview. So this is the school selection process. You can watch this video. It will walk you through the entire process to navigate through my website, get to see the provinces in Canada and which schools to take or select. So again, I believe there is a resource that can help you read before you make the final call. Please make it a point to go through the website and get to choose the schools that might interest you. So for instance, when you come to the website, it will take you through the entire province, like in the province of British Columbia. This is British Columbia. This is where I schooled. When you are to go there, you tend to see the schools. So when you click on it, you tend to see the schools. We have University of British Columbia, we have Simon Fraser University where I school, there's Victoria as well, and then the school, there is program that they offer. So it's mostly up to you to make that detailed research and come up with the schools that you really want to go with at the end of the day. And everything is being provided. So this is going to be the slide that will help you do that. Let me take a few questions, and if there is anything from Latif, please add it. And if Fuleratu, please add your pointers as well. Latif, if you're there, please.
Yeah, I'm here, but I don't have any comment now, but I have some questions. I think, Esther, your hand has been up for long. Can you go ahead and ask your question?
Go ahead, Esther.
Good evening. Thank you. This is Esther. I'm from Nigeria, actually. Okay. Last week, I applied for University of Manitoba. So they were like, be honest with your post-secondary schools and everything. So I added a polytechnic that I attended. Now they are asking me for the transcript of the polytechnic, which I will not be able to get before the deadline. But I can be able to get my BSc because I started afresh to get my BSc. So is there any way I can write for a waiver of that transcript? Is it possible? Or what can you advise? That's the first one. Then the second one is it possible to send a transcript without a cover letter? Because if they type a new cover letter for each transcript I sent, the money is the money is much, the finance involved is much because it's internationally processed. So they have local fee for transcripts and international fees for transcripts. So what can you advise? Can I send a transcript from the school portal without a cover letter to any university?
Yeah, so for the transcripts, I think there are two transcripts that will be required of you. The very first transcript is a soft copy when you apply. Okay, whenever you apply for the program, then if they Fulera, please correct me if I'm wrong. If they really want to pick you, then they will ask you for the hard copy. Is that how it works in Manitoba as well, Fulera?
Yeah, they request for like unofficial transcript. That is like the one on the school's website or something like that. School. So when you submit your application, after you've gained admission, they'll request for official one, which should come directly from your school with a letter of attestation. Yeah.
So let's say in your case, if they've given you the admission, I believe then they require you to have the official transcript, the one you mentioned with the cover letter and all that. But if this is just an initial process of you applying and they request for a transcript, then you having a soft copy of the transcript should be enough.
No, they're asking me for transcripts for the polytechnic I attended, and which I don't have access to it, and my deadline of application is 15th October for submission of the transcript. So they gave me submission of official transcript from the school portal or the exams and records, 15th October. Then final submission, which is the hard copy, 15th of January. So
Exactly.
and the admission decision will come in sometime in February. So I was like, is there any way, because of the polytechnic one, since my full BSc is there, is there any way I can write for them to waive the polytechnic transcripts?
I don't think can you pick this up with Fulera offline? Fulera, is it okay if she gets in touch with you?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think Fulera is
Okay,
also
thank you.
I'll send you Fulera's number. Okay.
Thank you.
Send me a text, I'll send you Fulera's number. Okay. I think we are running out of time. I would like to, finish in about 20 minutes. So let me quickly rush through the CV and get to show you guys where to find what. After that, we can pick up other questions as well. Okay. I think there is Razak and yeah. So in terms of the, I think we just quickly looked at how to select the schools, which is good. The video is here to walk you guys through, so I'm happy about that. In terms of your CV, I do have an extensive discussion of how I think a CV should be like and what software you guys can use to make your CVs look a bit more presentable. So you can have a look at that video here with all the resources.
At first, we wanted a really famous person here to tell you about capital.com.
Okay, so this will be it. So please, I'll share this slide with you guys. Hopefully you guys can have a look at it and then access the videos right away. But overall, just keep an eye on it. This is how we think your CV should be like. In the interest of time, I'm rushing through, but I hope this video should give you an extensive overview of it. Hopefully, I'll organize a different session where I can walk you guys through the CV. In terms of your statement of purpose as well, I think these are some of the points that you can raise within your statement of purpose. Sometimes you do have setbacks. Why you have very low grade points and all that, you can make it into a much stronger story. So here I give an example, you turning your weakness into your strength and how to write a statement of purpose to address that. So please have a look at it. There is a video here that Lawyer Shafiq helped us with. And
my interest in studying economics.
Exactly. So this year, Lawyer Shafiq assisted us with this particular aspect as well, how to write your statement of purpose. So kindly go through it carefully. And if you are to have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to have a look at it. Yeah, in terms of the statement of purpose, I think that should be high level. We will organize a session where we can discuss it in detail. Then the next slide, I believe, will talk about the payment. So with the visa payment, so this is where Fulera has been, extremely helpful. If you guys are trying to pay an application fee, as I mentioned, she will come in, assist with the $50 payment, and then the other $50, we have a way that we can get it done. So this has been extremely helpful. So if you have any question as to the fee payment, how it works, Fulera can really explain this. Yeah, this will be a point that I can further stress on if you guys need any clarification on as well. That said, we will have a look at when you guys finally get your admission. Now it's time for you to start preparing for your visa. So here there is a video that will walk you through the visa application.
Hello, I'm Vicky Butler-Henderson. Welcome to the new Driver Reviews channel.
So this is a session where Latif and Fulera will walk you through the visa application for the case of Canada. For the case of US, we do have the likes of Hamida, Elsie, Samira. This will be the video that will help you understand the process as well. So it's, as I mentioned, this is more comprehensive in terms of what's being offered. So just make it a point to, use the resources. If you have to have any questions, please let us know. Now, in terms of how I tend to give out the money, this is how I tend to go about it. I mostly segment you guys into 5 groups. I have the pure sciences, I have the business related programs, I have the art ones, which art one, and then we have hello. Then we have can we mute that guy, please? And we have the art 2, which is the math oriented. So under each category, I select 5 or 6 students to support. So that will give us about the 40 students that we need to cover, or 50 students that we need to cover. Yeah, so each and every group will have its budget, and I hope everyone will use the budget that I give within the group. So if a particular group does not exhaust their budget because some of the students are not interested, those on the standby will be called upon to come and get the money. Or we can then transfer the money to other group. For instance, if psychology group is not showing much interest, I can push it to the math related group if I find a student to be extremely strong but is on the standby. So that's how I tend to go about it. And I do announce everything on the WhatsApp platform. I send you guys the entire list, and everyone will get to see whether the person is within the group has been selected or not. So this is mostly it in terms of the teammates. As I mentioned, quite a lot of us, and thankfully Raymond is also here to help. I'm going to put him here, so about 11 of us. Just make it a point to connect with them on LinkedIn. If there's any shared connection, they can surely come in and assist. So that's it mostly. I believe you've been able to go through all the slides, be it in a fast manner, just so I can pick up questions before you guys leave. Latif, if you have any additional points, let me know. Fulera, if you have any, let me know. If not, we can take the questions from them.
Yeah, I think we should take the questions.
Okay. Guys, you can use the mic and ask the questions. We are happy to address them.
Razak, you can go ahead with your question.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, please. This is Abdul-Salam for father.
Okay.
Yeah, I think my question is, I even wrote my question on the chat, but anyway, this is the question. I applied to Trent University, for an MBA. So they actually denied me application, but they sent me a mail that I can also apply to their postgraduate certificate. So I didn't get that. Maybe the postgraduate certificate, does it also maybe give me any chance of getting an admission that I can make it to maybe Canada? Thank you. That's my question.
Okay. I believe the postgraduate certificate is not as strong as the actual master's or MBA, and the fact that it isn't as strong, getting the postgraduate work permit becomes a bit of an issue. Flora, is that the case? Would the guys with the postgraduate work permits now get the postgraduate work permit? Oh, sorry, postgraduate certificates get the postgraduate work permit? Oh, sorry, it's just.
I don't really have all like the exhaustive list of like, but I know that with postgraduate work, like postgraduate courses, if it's in a like DLI institution, you are eligible, and if it's like 8 months and above or so, you are eligible for like postgraduate work permits. I'm not sure, brother Latif, can you like explain that?
Yeah, so with the postgraduate certificates, like you rightly said, it depends on the duration of the program. So if it is at least 1 year program, because some of them are 1 year, some of them are 2 years. So it depends. So if your program is 2 years, you are eligible to get a postgraduate work permit when you are done. But if it is less than a year, then you may not get a postgraduate work permit. And it is also important for you to check whether the school is listed or the program is listed or it qualifies you to get a postgraduate work permit. So you can do so by going to the website of the school or the program to read more about it or connect with people who are there or who some people who have taken that particular program before and ask them whether the program qualifies you to get a postgraduate work permit. In that way, you'll be on the safer side. And also, there are other related master's programs. So if you didn't get into one university, there are so many MBAs around. You can check in other provinces and then apply there as well. So yeah, that's what I would say with that.
I think so.
Yeah, and also I just wanted to add like follow up. I saw that someone asked in the comments chat room that is Canada like an ideal destination given that they are changing some of the laws. I would say that like before people just like apply to like certain certificate programs or 8 months programs because after that you can get the work permit. But now so far the laws, most of the laws have not affected masters and PhD students. So if you are looking to apply to a program that is like either masters or PhD, and also make sure that the program is like in a DLI institution. That is very important because most of these private universities and what have you are not recognized like as DLI institutions. And when you are done, you won't get work permit. It means you have to go back. So make sure that you look into that whilst you are researching the schools. You look into that because laws are changing and it might affect you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I've got what you said. So I'll just do the necessary checks and see whether I can really do something about it or I would have to find out something more. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Anyone in there? Is this Abdul-Salam Husseini?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Abdul-Salam, and I don't know if you can hear me well.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. All right, so I have some few questions to ask, and I'm actually a nurse, and I'm already in Canada, British Columbia. So I think for Dr. Farouk, he's already aware. He helped me everything to get my visa to Canada. So that's it. My question is that I came through I'm a nurse back home, and I came through a nursing pathway for internationally educated nurses that British Columbia government introduced. So after everything, I came for an assessment exams, and after everything, they told me I have a diploma in nursing. So they want me to do a bridging course, or I should get a BSc before I can practice, or before they'll give me the license to practice as a nurse. And so I tried to search for schools to see if I'll get the BSc done or the bridging program. But through my search, what I realized is that in Canada, they have BSc nurses, and then they have registered nurses, which normally you need to get at least BSc before you can become a registered nurse. And they have licensed practical nurse, of which they will school up to 2 years. So what I realize is that if you have a diploma, they call the licensed practical nurses diploma nurses here in Canada. And back home, we those who are having the diploma, we school up to like 3 years. And our own is, we are also registered nurses, but here the difference is that if you are a licensed practical nurse in Canada and you want to become a BSc, you have to first of all do some access course, and then after that you go to school up to 3 years before you can become a registered nurse in Canada. But in my case, I have 3 years and I'm already a diploma nurse. So according to the schools, I have to also follow the licensed practical nurses pathway to do the access course and then school up to 2 or 3 years before I'll get my BSc. And my instructors also told me that maybe I can get a school that will consider my transcript and the courses that I did in Ghana, and maybe they may say, okay, you can do a 1-year program to get the BSc. So I want to know if anyone is here and the person has gone through something like that, and the person can help me with a school that I can apply, and maybe they can consider my transcript and everything, and I can school up to a year and I'll get my BSc in nursing. So that is the question I have. And I think I should have asked doctor personally, but since we are all here doing discussion, I think maybe someone might be here and the person went through the same process. So that's why I'm asking him. Thank you very much.
Most welcome. Fuleratu, what's Faisal's sister's name?
Yeah,
I think
I was going to mention that even though she didn't take the same route, she was like a degree nurse from Ghana, and she applied into like a program called Disability Studies for a master's. So when she came here for that master's, then she got the opportunity to register for the RN exams. So because she didn't do any nursing program here, she was a degree nurse from Ghana. So she entered here with a master's program so that she can be able to write the license exams, which is like RN exams. But as he explained, I've met another lady who came from Nigeria, and she's into like a nursing program. She was a nurse from Nigeria, but she's in a nursing program in University of Manitoba. I don't know how that works, but maybe you can connect with me. I can ask them like questions relating to that. Then we can get you like answers for your question. I don't know if, as your lecturer said, you might get a 1-year program to top up so that you'll be able to register for the RN exams. Yeah.
Yeah, I think actually give Husseini or some of the Faisal sisters number.
Okay, sure.
They can just connect offline. Please do
Okay,
that.
sure.
Get back to me if it's out. We'll share the contact with you.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
David,
All right. Thank you very much.
You
David,
can contact me as well. I know I know a nurse who works in the government of Saskatchewan Hospital. So he's from Ghana. So he has a lot of experience as well in this. So you can connect with me offline. You can chat me in offline, and I'll connect you to him, and you can take it from there.
Sure. So you have Flera and Latif to connect with. Let me take the question from David, then we can take 2 more. David?
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. So my question is with regards to the code emails to the professors prior the application or during the application process. So I've done my due diligence to get some schools, and I'm now at a point where I want to send code emails to some of them. But then I did computer science, and most of the code email templates I've seen talks about your final year project or final year research being in the same direction as the person you are writing to. But my case is not that way. Is there a way, or this can be done offline, maybe after the lesson, if someone is having a template or a way that I can write my code email to those professors, even though.
That's a good question. Let me do this. Okay, let me check on Solomon Boache. Please have a look at this session that we had with Professor Solomon Boache. I think he kind of like mentioned that. Let me see whether I have it here. If I don't, then I'll share it with you. I don't think it should be generic. I don't think yeah. So let me I think we should be good now. So thank you very much everyone for joining us. So I'll share this with you, and hopefully this should answer your question. I think we can take 3 more, and please Latif, please help me select 3 participants, and then hopefully we can answer the question. I think it's a bit late here on my end, and I probably have to go to bed. So maybe 3 guys, then hopefully next time we can have another session. Latif, please help me select 3 students.
Yeah, Frimpong, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm applying to Bright University. I got a waiver from them, but I'm still in the application process. I'm still filling the application forms. I have gotten to somewhere they are asking for a GPA, and I'm having a seat of BA. Our final results is still not in. Currently, I attended Kane Westy. Please, how do I go about it? They are requesting a GPA, but I'm having a seat of BA. So please, I'm asking, how do I go about it? And then I'm asking that if there is anyone here who can assist me to apply. And then also, I am pursuing business analytics. So if there is anything that can be done about it, I'll be very glad.
Sure. For the first person, I think Latif, correct me if I'm wrong. With the conversion from their metric to GPA, I believe there should be that conversion. What's the name? Scale on the school's website. Is that the case or?
Yeah, for most of the schools, they do have the conversion scale. That is that they kind of have. for UFS, for example, they deal with for UF. I mean, if I say UFS, I mean University of Saskatchewan. The minimum requirement for most programs is like 75 or 70% average. So they use the percentages, but in Ghana, most programs kind of use GPA like Legon, UCC, and all that. So usually what people do is that they convert from the GPA, for example, if it is a 2.5 GPA, 2.5 over 4, then you multiply that by 100 to think about converting it to the percentages that they are looking for. So I'm not really quite familiar with KNUST, the GPA system and how the conversion works, but I believe they should have a scale where you can convert your CWA to the GPA that you're looking for. Yeah.
Please have a look at the website, as you rightly mentioned. There should be that conversion metric there. It should be stated. And I think I do have experience with WES, the World Education Service. That's another experience that I had when I had to evaluate a transcript. So that should be another platform to check if you can't find the conversion on the school's website. Fuleratu, any experience with the conversion?
No, I've not had any experience with the conversion.
Yeah. So with the guy,
Please, can I share something with regards to that?
Yeah.
So WES has the conversion there.
Question, please
But
look at this.
I've sent something in the chat, so the person can check in the chat.
Okay, sounds good. I think there is so please check the charts and then hopefully.
Yeah. Josephine and Koma, you can ask your question.
All right. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you all hosts for this opportunity and for sharing with us your knowledge about this journey that we want to take on. Okay, so I've been trying to apply for University of Manitoba for some time now. I've been studying their requirements and probably maybe a change in their requirements. That's Masters of Public Administration, Public Policy. And as part of their requirements, I'm supposed to submit a publication or writing sample. But here is a case where in my final year project, it was done in a group. And I know that normally when they ask for this, they want something that I did on my own. So I want to be on the safer side. I sent the college, a mail with regards to that, and they still directed me to the website with the requirements. And right now I'm kind of in a dilemma. I don't know what to do, whether I should build upon my final year project with the consent of my group members and to submit it, or I should just find another topic and start all afresh with that. Thank you.
That's a good point. Latif or Fuleratu, do you guys want to give it a shot or?
Yeah. What I would say with that is this. Would a group work as a final year project if the school is asking for what you have done? I think you can still go ahead and use it, but the emphasis should be on what you did in the group project. So that's so you should be able to explain to them what was your role. It was a group project, all right, but what was your role in the project? The specific things that you did in the project. So if you are able to convince them what exactly you did, it is very, very important for them to appreciate that. That alone not only tells them about what you did, it also tells them about your collaborative abilities with other people. So that's what I would say about that. And also with the MPA, you should also think about search on University of Saskatchewan and University of Regina. They do have a very nice MPA program. and this program provides you, the necessary skills that you need to work in the public sector. And the good thing about this program is that after your first year, the program automatically posts you to the government of Saskatchewan. There are so many ministries. So you do your internship, 1 year internship with the ministry, and after that, you are likely to get a full-time position with the ministry. So also think about looking at these two universities, for the MPA program. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much, Latif. But one more question. How do I present the publication or the writing sample if I'm to go with University of Manitoba? Do I have to submit a portion of the research or the entire research that I did? Maybe the literature review, the abstract, please help me with this, please. Thank you.
I think it will be interesting to let them see what the entire project was. And then, and in addition to that, you write a separate, you kind of attach a separate document listing what you did in the program to make sure that they know the main project and also what you did in the project. I think that would do.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
Latif, please pick another one. So.
Yeah, I think Abbas, can you go ahead with your question, maybe?
Okay,
all
right.
It should be fairly short because I think I'm running out.
Yeah, please be brief with your question.
Yes, very quick. So thank you very much for the opportunity. So I'm currently working on my SOP and then CV. I've gone through some of the materials you put on your website, and you indicated that we can contact you guys to go through our final SOP and then CV. How do we do that? Is it via LinkedIn, or you have some emails? I mean, what's the appropriate medium to contact you guys for you to go through our final CV and the SOP? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think I mentioned so we have about 700 going to be possible to go through everyone's CV. So if this is all the statement of purpose, so if this is the case that you're able to go through the materials as you rightly mentioned, for instance, the CV should be fairly straightforward. To go through what type, as well as the tutorials that I offered. So that should be fairly easy to review. In terms of the SOP, that's going to be a bit difficult in some respects because there's a need for us to reiterate over it several times. So here, as I mentioned, truth be told, this is where getting yourself in front of everyone to be shortlisted is very important, right? So out of the 40, then I can come in and clearly go like, okay, maybe this SOP needs to review before we finally submit it, and I can make the payment. But I can't go through everyone's SOP. So my suggestion here is make yourself more competitive. Make it a point that you're part of the shortlisted applicant. That way, you get the money, as we mentioned, to help you pay the application fee. You also get the extra benefits of getting your final CV and your final SOP. Is that okay? Latif? Is there anyone with any additional question there?
Yeah, I think there are several hands up, but I think for the purpose of time, I would say that those of you who have questions, you can drop them to us. You can, DM me or Fulera as around, you can access, and then we can be on one-on-one with you. So Farouk, I will leave it to you and for your final words.
And Fulera, maybe your final words, and I'll just come in to say bye to everyone. Thanks a lot, Latif, again.
Oh yeah, so I would say that we can't answer all the questions today. So you can send like a detailed like question in the group, and any of us can answer your question. And please, if you are going to DM us, please be straightforward. Don't just send a hi, a hello, how are you, or like just introduce yourself and ask your question, and when we are online, we'll reply your messages. And also, if you want to send documents or something, you can send to us through like LinkedIn or to our email if you have it. Like, yeah. So that's what I would say.
Yeah. I think yeah, final words from my side. Thank you everyone for joining, and it is my hope and wish that we go through the materials carefully. I mean, help each other, and make sure whatever we are about to present might be the final polished version. And I mean, professional, as Fulera rightly mentioned. And make sure this journey is gonna be it's quite a tedious one, but the end result is worth it. So please keep working hard and make yourself as competitive as you can, just so you can also get yourself into the graduate program, and hopefully everything will be okay. My regards to or my sincere, heartfelt appreciation to Latif and Fulera for all the support, and all the teammates on this journey. I thank them for everything, and then hopefully this year will be a success as well. So thank you everyone, and sorry if we've not been able to answer the questions. Thanks a lot, everyone. Bye. Bye. Latif, talk to you guys. Bye.